Road to 400. Hey, with the brother, co-host. Hey,
we getting up there, ain't we?
For real. Road to 400. Road to 400. This episode is named Matter of Opinion because we're gonna state a lot of opinions in this one, for real. Bro, I want to get straight to it. Teacher catches flack and has potential termination. I'm not sure he's been fired. It's been speculation he's been fired from his job because of a video of his students unbraiding his hair, painting his nails, and having certain
I didn't know
communication. Like just bonding with his kids in class and him recording it. With this, I'm 50-50 in this, bro. I feel like
let's first of all let's say his intentions was because that was his way, an effective way that he found to get them to open up.
Correct. And that's why I say I feel 50-50 because I don't feel like he's a bad teacher at all. I feel like he's one of those teachers that are appealing to his community. Also, kids and students that can really relate to. He's not a bad guy. In the videos that I've seen, it's not a bad guy. The only problem with it that I have with it is just you just gotta be mindful and read the room of what you recording. And where we're at today, something can go viral just like that. And I feel like as soon as it went viral, it was a lot of judgment based on his students, which are girls, young ladies, unbraiding his hair and how that may be looked at. And what I do feel like, if a lot of people out there saying it's inappropriate, it's a lot of videos going around too that resurfacing with women getting their hair unbraided. If you feel like it's inappropriate across the board, if you feel like it's inappropriate, then it has to be across the board as well too, not just based off of gender. I know how it could look because if I was a dad and I seen my daughter going viral for unbraiding a teacher's hair without context, I'll be like, oh yeah. I'll have a problem for sure. I'll have a problem. So I get how people can be looking at it in a certain way because it's like, what are we doing in the school? But also, if you understand who the teacher is, who the person is, he's actually building a good bond and relationship and rapport with the students, and somebody that actually can be an influence or a role model that they probably don't have back at home. So I do see both sides of it. And I understand. I don't think he should have been fired. I think it should have been some policies put in place, some training or whatever that the case may be. But I feel like it needs to apply to all. If we're going to deem certain things inappropriate, it applies to all. Because I feel like it is inappropriate based off of what it looks like for sure. But that's what I say. You be mindful, read the room of what you're recording. Yeah. And one thing I found too that was interesting is that. Even when we both teachers, even when I'm recording my students, we're having a conversation. I don't put their faces in. I don't put them on camera. So I feel like in this instance, I feel like it was a lot of things, a lot behind them being on camera as well too.
Yeah. And it's all about for me, you can have. I don't think dude's a bad guy. First of all, I know he's getting fired because it made daytime television. Once stuff hits the news and daytime television and stuff like that, and it looks a certain way, that's really when you probably about to lose your job. But it's all about again, we're two black men in education, and we have to tiptoe in this field. One of the things I don't like about it, but it's just the truth. Mm-hmm. It's all about perception. You don't want to give the perception of it looking a certain way because there are weirdos out there that do like to touch on little girls, and you don't want to give the perception. So we have to tiptoe in this because of how it looks. You have to think about how this looks. You have the greatest intentions. And I'm not knocking that, but how does this look? This looks extremely weird. For those little girls, this is a very intimate thing, especially for them at their age. They don't know how to process hormones and emotions. You touch them a certain way, they feel like, that you like them and stuff like that. I'm finding that, with my fourth and fifth graders and the way they dress and how they talk to me, I don't see it that way because to me, they're just girls. Mm-hmm. But to them, they admire me and think I'm so cute and so handsome and whatnot. They're trying to get my attention. I just don't see it that way. And so when you do stuff like that, you have to be mindful of how it's affecting them emotionally because they're not grown women. Even when you getting your hair braided by somebody of your age, when we were young, you had to sit in a girl's legs and they would braid your hair. It's a very intimate thing. These are little girls, and so. It's all about the perception of things. How does this look, and how is that gonna make them feel? And so I have to deal with it in my room. I don't even hug my female students. I didn't hug my high schoolers, And again, it's like, I don't love you, but it's a perception thing.
Straight pound.
Yeah, I don't want. I hug you like this. I don't want anyone looking and thinking that this is something else, or it can turn to something else. And you don't know what kids go home and tell their parents. Parents are weird, and because you hug them or you do this, it builds to the case, even though there might not be a case. It's all about perception.
And you got to walk a fine line.
You got to walk a fine line.
And you have to read the room and understand.
Listen, some things the women can do in our profession that we can't. They can hug the girls. They can hug the girls. We can't hug the girls. And again, we're not saying that. Like I said, it should be fair across the board, but it's just not look the same way. Unfortunately, it's just not. When I hug a female student, it can. If something were to be said, that can be looked at a certain way. If a female staff member hugs a female student, it doesn't get looked at the same way. They can hug on certain kids and give them a kiss on the forehead. Their parents don't mind. We don't get to do those things. We just don't. And so for me, it's all about perception. Like, how does this look? How does this make you look? It's the same reason why I don't let them come in my room dressed any kind of way. Because I don't want anyone walking by my room and thinking that I'm okay with you walk and be in my classroom like this. I don't even want the perception. We've been at a school where a guy was sleeping with students. I don't even want the perception of that. Don't even think that way about me. I don't want you to even think that I look like that. You know. So I don't hug my high school. So I hug them when they're not my students anymore. I don't hug my female students now. I got handshakes. I got smaller ones that hug me. I kind of hug them like this. I got one that wants to grab my arm all the time, like Mercedes. I'm saying that, but no, you can't. You can't grab on me like that.
But and to what you're saying, I have a good rapport and good bond with my students. Bond. But it's just also walking a fine line and reading the room and having an understanding. Like you said, the perception. The perception is everything. We are black males in the space. You have to be mindful and read the room and which you're at. And like, understandably, I like I said in the beginning, I believe that he is a role model to that school community. I don't think he's a bad guy.
To find a way to get his students to open up.
And then also it was said that they understand who he is in the school, like the principal, the admin, the staff. So I just feel like if it's acceptable to them, then it's acceptable to them. But the only place where it went wrong is when you start recording those type of things. That too, because
you're not supposed to have them on camera and stuff like that unless they
sign consent form. Consent form.
And what's the likelihood that all those girls sign a consent form?
Yeah, it's a lot that goes into it as well. And like we said, to begin with, I just don't believe in moving the goalposts. If you're going to say it's inappropriate in general, then it's inappropriate across the board. If you feel like it's appropriate across the board, then it's appropriate across the board. Don't move the goalposts based off the gender. Even though I understand the perception and what we perceive can be looked at as okay over here and not okay over here.
Same reason, again, because like you said, if I walk in and I see a video like that, based on the perception, I'm going off. That's my daughter, you know. Same thing with like you working in high school. I used to work in high school. I could be in my room with the lights off, chilling. As soon as with the door closed, as soon as one of my female students walk in, I had to cut the light on. It's the first thing I say, cut the light on. Because again, it's all. I don't want the perception that me and you in this dark room together, even though we're just talking. I don't want no one to walk by and think that this looks like something else. So the second you walk in and you want to come and talk to me, either open the door or cut the light on. But Mr. Holmes, cut the light on.
And those little things matter. Those little things matter.
You got to be on your P's and Q's, man. You got to. It gets like that. You can lose your job quick. Or people can make this accusation about you quick, and then they go back and you have this thing happen. Correct. And it's like you just gotta be sharp.
Yep. You gotta be sharp.
That's why I was looking at it. I was like, yo, no way he did this, man.
Yeah,
you can't have these students playing in your head,
and it's messed up because I still feel like it's a teachable moment regardless of anything, and I feel like it's a conversation to be had. I don't feel like he should have lost his job. I feel like it should have just been some protocols or suspension, whatever you case. It was speculated. I think it was a video going him out, and he was crying, and he was basically like reading the messages from his students that were sending to him, and that's another conversation people brought up. But and I understand how that could be deemed to look. That's what we should have said. This perception of everything. Yeah, but just based off of that, he was just saying that his students were asking why he wasn't there, those type of things. And I see both sides of it. I see a side where he is a role model to these students. He means no harm. But also I see the other side of just off the perception. It can look weird in the eyes of especially parents. So I get it.
Yeah, and you don't want to that's my whole thing. I don't even want you to think that I'm weird. I don't even want to look weird. And I'm not perfect, but in this educational setting, especially since I've been at a school where that was happening, and I remember how my dad was looking at that dude. I won't say his name, but you know who I'm talking about. But I remember in my sister had his class. I just remember how my dad was looking at. He was looking at him like this on teacher appreciation, on teacher back to school night. Cause he could see it and how he was interacting with his female students, and he knew. He was like, my dad told me, he said, "Hey, go to his class, do his work, stay away from him." And my sister didn't get it until like about 2 weeks later when he got caught. But I was like, I remember how my dad looked at him and my mother, and I don't even want you to look at me like that. Don't ever think that that I'm a creep or want to do.
And don't put yourself in that position.
Don't put yourself in that position. You just can't do it. That's my whole thing. It's like I think he had great intentions. He was trying to get his students to open up. And, as teachers, we always try to find different ways to get our students to open up. But we got to find ways that, also protect us as well. And so you don't want it to look weird.
And if your school is good with it, then just not recording it.
Yeah, don't record.
That's what I'm saying. That's the main thing. I'm talking about if the school is good with it, he has a good rapport with the students, all that's in-house. Then you know what I'm saying. Just recording it. That's what set everything. He
probably would have been fine if after his hair was unbraided, he could have recorded himself later and said, "So I allow my students to unbraid my hair because it allows them to." Maybe that probably would have been better.
He explained it.
But I'm saying like without the students.
Oh yeah.
If he just recorded himself in the aftermath without the
I
video
see what you're saying.
And just explained, that probably would have been better or not have gone viral than actually the students actually live sitting there unbraiding his hair.
Yeah, it's just. It's like we said.
Because now it's up to speculation. Right. You don't know how old these kids
just
are.
The perception.
They could be 5 years old, or you don't you know what I'm saying? Like he could be in you just don't. At that point, it's up to speculation. It probably doesn't go viral, and nobody can make the assumption that or what they're trying to assume now. But because you had the kids ask you on camera, untwisting your hair and whatnot, now it looks a certain way.
Correct.
Correct.
Lady,
hopefully that dude doesn't get whatever.
Yeah,
I hope he doesn't lose his job. I don't want nobody.
Prayers and condolences to everybody.
Yeah, all that. But man, once it reached the diss track, it was just like, okay, let's wrap this up. Like, where are the people in Shaq's life? It's telling him, hey, it's not that deep.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, both are Hall of Famers, both are legends in their own right. Both can talk about sports. Both are analytical. Both are good in their professions.
And I think if they both sat down in the interview, it would be hilarious.
Yeah, and it would be amazing. I think
it'll happen.
That's for a good watch too. I don't think it needs to go any further than what it is right now.
Yeah.
Austin Rivers, man. Speaking about basketball.
You want to talk about the Rudy Gobert thing real quick?
We can because it went. So former NBA player Gilbert Arenas, he gets upset at current NBA player
that was my favorite
Rudy Gobert
at one point. I had his autograph
for missing a playoff game to see the birth of his child. So Gilbert Arenas got upset at Rudy Gobert for missing a playoff game to see the birth of his child on his podcast. What are your views on that?
I think it depends on what you value more, man. I don't think you're right or wrong. I think more people will probably look at you weird for missing.
I'm not missing that moment. I'm not missing that moment.
It's a playoff game, man. I think this was his first child.
But regardless of anything, it is what you value. But
listen, there are multiple examples of this. Richard Sherman.
This is a moment you don't get back.
About missing the Super Bowl because his first child was going to be born. Now his first child wasn't born, but he was saying, "Listen, if my son is being born, I probably will miss the game. It's the Super Bowl." RG3 ran off the field in the middle of work when he got the call that his wife was in labor. He ran off the field. Cam was following him. He wasn't playing the game, but it's like he was at work. He ran off the field to go do that. So it depends on what you value more.
And it's the communication that you have with
if you want to be there for your first child's birth, and you want to be there for your woman, and you can make it, you can come back, and play that game. It wasn't an elimination game. I think it was game 2.
Yeah.
So the series wasn't over.
But I just feel like it's the conversation that you have with your lady.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like it's based off.
Because it's not unheard of.
Yeah,
it's just not.
And personally, I wouldn't miss that. I wouldn't miss that. But like you said, in context, because what Gilbert Arenas was saying, he was saying that we never really saw an instance like this before. As far as
we never saw it, but there were moments.
It's moments where it has happened, but he was like, we never saw that, and he was just he wasn't ridiculing him, but he was just basically like, man, you stated that. He
didn't get it.
He didn't understand. He didn't understand that. But I completely understand it.
I get it. It depends on what you value.
It depends on what you value. But this is a moment that you can't get back. This is a moment that you can't get back. You've been playing basketball all your life. This moment is the moments of all moments. This is
we also don't know what him and his lady have been through. Maybe they struggled to have a kid, and now they're finally having one. And it's like, so again, maybe this is a bigger moment to him, you know, than playoff basketball. Because at one point, basketball's going to end.
It's a game.
But these things, it's a game.
It's a game.
But these things, like to quote LeBron, I know he might not have said it at the right moment in time, but he was right. It's just basketball. It is just a game. Mm-hmm. And you know, these are your kids, and you want to be there for these moments. You know, when they're born and stuff like that. The playoffs weren't going anywhere. It was game 2. It wasn't over at game 2. He has been back since then, and it's still a series. They got to play tonight. So it wasn't, and they won that game. So it wasn't like, you know.
Correct, they did.
I think had it been like game 7, then it's like, okay, hey, I'll be there later, but you know, we gotta win this game. So I get it. So it all depends on what,
like you said, it depends on what you value.
It's how you look at it, and the conversations have been had. Like, you gotta have those conversations. Mm-hmm. You know, if your lady really wants you to be there, then you gotta be there, man.
I want you to pull up the exact quote, but I'm a paraphrase, but I'll wait for you what Austin Rivers actually said. And it started a good conversation, a conversation that I've been talking amongst my friends about because we've all played basketball and football. And I feel like it's a good conversation because basketball and football require a certain level of skill set. But I feel like the mentality of football is totally different. The physical aspect is totally different. You moving a person against their will every single play. You have to have heart to play football. And to paraphrase what Austin Rivers was saying is this, that he was just saying 30 NBA players currently that can transition to the NFL, and that
I can take 30 players right now. Hold on, I need to find the whole.
Yeah, because it's context. Because that's why I say I want to break it down because I want to understand exactly what he's trying to say. Because, like I said, I agree that NBA players skill set wise can transition to the NFL because basketball requires skill set too. Like you have to be skilled to play basketball too. Yes, you can just shoot the ball. You can be good at one area in one field, but you still have to have skill to play basketball. I feel the same as football, but I do feel like off of skill, NBA players can transition, but the mentality is totally different. The game is tougher. The game is harder for NFL. It's a lot of basketball players that I know.
I can't find, without playing the video, I can't find the whole
it's a lot of basketball players that I know that stop playing football the first down or the first practice that they had.
But I like Emmanuel Acho's quote, and he's right. He said, somebody tell Austin Rivers, football drills make basketball players, not the other way around. And that's a fact. But this is what Austin Rivers said. He said, I can take 30 players right now in the NBA and throw them in the NFL. You cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA. And the context behind that was I think he said that we just catch the ball and turn around and stuff like that. So to give mine, would you finish?
Yeah, you can continue. We going.
So it's like, but what I also says is a fact. Listen, our drills make basketball players. Y'all drills do not create football players. That's just a fact. But it's like, yo, man, like put some respect on our sport. Put some respect on our game, man. Because I don't think guys can go from the NFL to the NBA. Like, listen, the guy on the NBA bench will cook you in one-on-one. That's how good you have to be in the NBA. So notice how none of us are saying that we can go to the NBA and get a bucket. Some people feel like that, but the NFL guys aren't saying that. But you're trying to minimize what it is that we do and what it takes to play what we play. And I think the skill set is the same as far as like what it takes to do what we did. There's a difference between you throwing a football and an NFL quarterback throwing a football. And there's a difference between me shooting a jump shot and Austin Rivers shooting a jump shot. You can see it in the technique and all of that. So there is skill that is worked on both sides to do what we need to do at a high level. To say that you can come into the NFL, the highest level of football, you wouldn't survive training camp.
No, you wouldn't.
You would not survive training camp.
You wouldn't.
You just wouldn't. Everybody thinks they can play football until like 6'4", 200-pound dude takes his shoulder pass and throws it in your chest, and then does next play.
You moving another man against their will every single play.
It's just not happening, yo.
And you have to have heart. That's something
you gotta have a certain callous.
Yeah.
Like,
come on now.
It's just like
it take a certain. That's what I was arguing with my boy. It's like the mentality of a football player is totally different than the mentality of a basketball player. And I play both, but you have a lot of basketball players that don't like getting hit with crowd or a common foul. You think you would come across the middle and take a hit? You think that you can get blocked every play, or block, or make a hit?
Like you can avoid, if you play basketball, you can avoid Shaq. Like you don't have to go down there and deal with Shaq. You can shoot the jump shot, shoot the midi. If you want to go down there and like Allen Iverson try to get a layup, whatever, and get hit by him, that's fine. But you can avoid Shaq. You gotta see Ray Lewis like every play. Like you can't avoid him.
But it depends on the position.
You know what I'm saying? Like
it depends on the position, which I understand. Like as far as like skill set, I understand that. Like say for NBA players, they can play a skill position. Say like for corner or safety and stuff like that. But all of these are reaction as well too. Yes, I know defense and basketball is reaction, and like I said, it's like you said, it's
lining up in front of Devontae Adams.
Put respect on both sports, but don't get in the NFL or football confused.
Please do not. There's so much that goes into our playing our sport. From a skill aspect, I ain't like what Lou Will said. Lou Will said, shooting a jump shot is harder than all that stuff. Like, listen, no, it's not. Children learn how to shoot a jump shot. You cannot teach a child to recognize cover three post snap. Forget pre snap. Post snap. Throw the perfect seam route over the linebackers while pass rush is in your face. That comes much later in the sport. Mm-hmm. But I can teach a child to shoot a jump shot. Maybe not at a professional level, but I can. But to basically just say shooting a jump shot is harder. No, it's not. Anyone can shoot a jump shot. Anyone can learn to shoot a jump shot. That, like outsmarting Peyton Manning, being able to if I were to break down to you what goes into running a route, like you would be like, oh snap! Like it's more like it's a whole lot. It's all of it is skill, and we have to process so much information within seconds. Correct. We have seconds to process information, just down to a play. Like, hey, 30 wide right, kill, 2-5 blast. But that's like you have seconds, to unpack all of that. Mm-hmm. I just gave you 2 plays. The kill is I kill the first play, we run the second play. So the first one is the pass, the second one's the run. There's emotion in it. It's like you have seconds to process all of this.
And then everybody, and also I understand for both sports. Everybody has to do their job, but in football, everybody has to do their job. It can be in basketball, you can have somebody take over the game.
You can have some iso ball moments.
In the NFL, you need everybody for one common goal. And the physical aspect and the mental aspect is different.
Just to move 3 yards, everyone has to do their job.
It's not simple.
Just to stop somebody from moving a yard, everyone has to do their job. Like you're trying to get people to you're trying to keep people from moving an inch. Like literally, you're trying to keep people from moving a yard down the field from a defensive standpoint. Like, so just take what Darrelle Revis did. Like, you lining up in front of Randy Moss all game, no matter where he goes, in every route, and trying to stop him from catching the ball for 60 minutes is not the same as defensively on basketball. I get that you trying to lock a guy up, but there are moments, and there are moments where you're not always guarding that guy. Like, Darrelle Revis had to follow that man everywhere he went all game long.
But also, for the basketball aspect, you do have players in basketball that play football, such as like Anthony Edwards, LeBron James. Yeah. Understandably so. But can we say just because they play football
in the NFL,
that does not mean it was going to transition to the NFL?
I got guys that haven't played ball since high school. They think they can come and play and do what we did at D3. Like, listen, you have not played grown man football. You are not coming you have not played football since high school. Yeah. Do not think you're gonna step on this D3 field and just be somebody. No, like I got guys again, like you said, it's a mentality thing. Yeah. It's a mentality thing with the concept of the sport. I got guys right now, my homie Jamal who runs track, who think he can crack me. I be looking at him like, Jamal, like you are bugging if you think I'm gonna let you crack me. It's a mentality thing. Like, first of all, I was the guy that looked for contact when I ran the ball, and you can attest to that. Like, I had to learn how to be. That was always fast. I had to learn how to be try to avoid the contact to get more yards type of guy. But 8 times out of 10, if I see you coming downhill, like I'm coming downhill too, and I'm gonna move you out my way. Mm-hmm. So if you think I'm gonna let your non-football playing self just put on pads and hit me, you are sorely mistaken. Yeah. I've had way bigger guys that I've ran over and bust off. I'm not letting you tackle. So it's a mentality thing, and that's all game long. There is no break. Right. The very next play, like if there's a running back, I have to be prepared to get hit by 7 out of 11 guys every play. You know what I'm saying? And as a quarterback, you have to, know everybody's job, see the field, and avoid the people in front of you while looking downfield. And make that throw while getting hit. And my thing every play.
Respecting both sports, like you said to begin with.
Put some respect on our game, man.
We respect basketball. We respect everything that goes to basketball, but you gotta respect both sports.
I don't think guys in the NBA could come off the NFL and play in the NBA. The worst guy on the bench in the NBA will cook you. Will give you 20. If y'all were playing a 21, you would probably lose 21 to 11, if that. That's how good you have to be to play in the NBA. So please, we understand that, but put some respect on our game, man. It's more than just catching and turning around. Shaq, when Chuck said, hey, we couldn't play football. Here's we can get him. I'm talking to you right now. You thinking that you tackling him is, proves your point. Let you know how ignorant you are and what we have to do. Tackling Derrick Henry is not easy. There's a skill in that and a mentality thing in that. That's a big guy. You have to want to hit that dude 20 times a game. Tackling Tyreek Hill in the open field is a skill, man. Yeah. That is not easy to do.
You gotta be stupid athletic, and you gotta use more of your physical abilities in football, in my opinion.
And there's more of your brain. People think football players there's no skill. People think we don't use our brain. I'm telling you, with the amount of information we have to process before play, during play, after play, in seconds. There's so much thinking.
And no matter what position you play, it's all strategized. It's like chess.
There's so much thinking that goes on, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's like chess. You have to be aware of every single thing that goes on in the field, no matter what position you play, because it impacts the actual play.
It does. I'm telling you, man. You look at people talking about Draymond Green's a tough guy. Listen, Draymond Green got packed up in Michigan.
Yeah,
fine play.
Because football. Guess what? Even to speak to a lot of the tall NBA players. If you get on that line of scrimmage as a wide receiver and you run straight up and you don't square your shoulders, guess what? I'm gonna jam you, because now you're at a disadvantage. Just because you're tall doesn't really mean anything in basketball. In football, if you're transitioning over to football, it doesn't really mean anything.
I would love one of those.
If you don't know how to level your pass, if you don't know how to really play. It's more
y'all do not run up and down the court with 10 pounds of extra equipment on.
It's different. It's different.
I would love, and they wouldn't do it because there's way too much risk of injury. I wouldn't do it. I make too much money playing basketball to risk this. But I would love one of those guys. Just go to training camp. You will not want to keep playing.
What's that show? I missed that show. What's it called, y'all? Pros versus Joes. And I'm not saying, but I do feel like we need to bring that back. I think we need to bring some of the basketball and football competitiveness in the pros versus Joes and remind people, bro. This not easy. Either profession is easy.
Neither sport
but you got to put respect on.
Put respect on our game, man.
You have to.
Please put respect on our game.
I agree with that.
A lot of guys work really hard to do what they do. You ever seen that drill that Aaron Rodgers does with the baskets all the way down there, and he just I'm like, that's a skill, man. That's the guy that has honed his skill in throwing the football. I'm not handing you a football. I don't care how well you think you can throw. If I hand you the football, you're not doing that. And you're definitely not doing it at the high clip that he does.
Look like Cuz off Long as Y'all who's trying to play the quarterback.
You are not doing that. I don't care how good you think you are, how strong of an arm you think you are. It's about more than just arm strength. Yeah. It's accuracy and touch that goes into that.
Precision,
timing,
timing. Yep.
The release, all it's just like shooting a jump shot, all of it. So it's like, please don't get misconstrued. That we don't.
I agree with that.
That we don't do anything in our sport. Cause we do. Please put respect on our game, man.
Agree. Gunna album just came out. Look here. I don't care what you say about Gunna. The music is always going to speak for itself with Gunna.
I'm seeing mixed reviews, but I liked it.
Nah, I love this album.
I liked it. I don't like it better than the last one, bro. I like it better than the last one. But
yeah, Gift and the Curse was special. That was special. But this album is fire, bro. I respect Gunna because he's consistent, but also the subject matter. He doesn't have to talk about the the shoot 'em up, kill 'em, all that. You know what I'm saying? It's really just like a vibe. His music is just a vibe, and
every time. And
that's a question I do have. What do you rank Gunna in these last decade, like as far as artists? Because I feel like consistent wise, he's been up there for a minute since Drip Season 3, which was a moment in time, like a moment in time when that came out.
I don't know where I rank him because I haven't thought that deeply about him. Because I'm not like a super fan like you are. I'm more of a fan I am these last couple of years that I have been since he's been out. I'll say that. So I've definitely grown more in my fandom of him. I don't know where I rank him. Cause it's like I've never thought about it too deeply. I'm not that invested, so I can't. I would be the wrong person to speak to that.
Yeah, I feel like he's up there. I feel like
he definitely proved some folks wrong.
I feel like he's in those conversations.
In his comeback, people thought that they were looking at him a certain way. I guess not.
I feel like he enters more conversations with, the futures, those people that are top tier, just because he's consistent within his music.
And you look, a 4-album run is always a special. That's how you really can tell who's ascending as an artist. Like you look at their 4 albums, like their last 4 albums, and if you were to do a 4-album run of Gunna, he's on a tear right now. From this album to Gift and the Curse, the one before that was what the one with the Stone album cover, the Daniel Sharpe album.
DS Forever.
DS Forever, that was good, and the one before that was what's the one with Matt Gala? That's the one with Matt Gala. Wanna. That's again. So you look at like these last 4 projects. Yeah. He's definitely in a different tier of where he's headed.
No misses for sure. No misses.
I need Meek Mill to stop tweeting.
No misses.
I really
for sure.
do. Please.
Yeah, look here.
He's turning into Kanye West.
Hey, it's you have to understand how to read the room, and if it's one person you don't want to go back and forth with, you don't want no rap beef with. It's 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
You leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's shown too many times, and exposed too many people, bro.
That man survived bullets. Leave him alone.
Leave that man alone.
He's not afraid of any of you. If you go through something like that, why would I be afraid of any of you?
Yeah,
I survived 9 bullets in the ICU. Like, I'm not afraid of any of you, man. Like, what?
And he was in, and 50 Cent came up in a different time.
Yeah, where I'm not afraid of any of you.
It wasn't just social media, even though he trolls off of social media.
I don't care about the internet and all that other stuff. And I'm not afraid of any of you. I wouldn't be afraid of any of you either if I survived something like that.
Leave that man.
But it's not even just that. Like, even before he started going with 50, he was already on a like the amount of tweets he put out within an hour yesterday was insane. He's still going. I'm like, what is?
I want to talk about this, bro, because I was upset about this.
The Soulja Boy thing.
This Soulja Boy thing is disgusting.
He's a loser.
Come on, come on now. We can respect you for your musical contributions.
That dude is a child.
But that's lame, bro. That's lame. That's lame. Oh, and then it's a resurfaced tweet. Like every
12 years ago.
Come on, bro.
Why would I apologize for that?
I don't
like
like
Mitch was ignoring you.
I don't like them type of games, bro. Because why do you have to speak on his mom? Yes, of course it's Mother's Day, but just in general, why do you have to speak on his mom?
His mom just passed. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Being vindictive for no reason.
Vindictive for no reason. And if you feel any personal things about him, just speak to the personally. Of course he doesn't care. And then of course, like a lot of these things right now, it's kind of like you're seeking attention, but that's low, bro. That's low.
21's involved.
That's low.
This can turn ugly now. 21's
that's
involved.
And things like that can turn ugly.
Be like that, man. Like. It was a 12-year-old tweet, man. Like, you don't know where that dude was in his life when he was tweeting that, yo. Like, and that's why I'm sure you got some old stuff out there that people like. Nobody's tripping off that. Like, you can't try to react to that now, and then to the point where because he's ignoring you, now you want to bring up his dead mom. Yeah. Like, that's just. That's prime behavior. And this guy's ignoring me, so I'm gonna talk about it.
And all this is overkill. All this rap beef stuff, all this stuff going on, it's overkill at this point because everybody's gonna have their biases. Yeah, everybody's gonna feel how they want to feel. It's been too much going on.
I don't want artists, and I understand MCs have an itch, but like, please don't start unnecessary lyrical warfare because you saw 2 guys go at it. Like, please don't start something unnecessary. Like. For them, I feel like at the time it was necessary because it had been building up, and some things had been said. It's like, okay, we need to do this because clearly we need to get this off our chest. So I feel like with them it was necessary. The rest of you, I feel like with the game, I feel like this is very unnecessary. Like, I feel like y'all just trying to like piggyback off the momentum. So like, I personally hope Ross does not respond. I'm like, I don't really want to see this.
Yeah, we need a break. We need a break from all this going on. We need a break. We need some positive energy for sure. Man, much love, guys. Thank you for following on the journey. Like, share, subscribe.
5 tonight, 2 wins.
Timberwolves win. I think the home team has at a disadvantage in this series. I don't know why, but it's been consistent that they're at a disadvantage, and there's more pressure on the home team, and the home team have not come to show up in either of the games. For the Timberwolves, when they went 2-0, Denver didn't show up, and then Timberwolves just didn't show up as well too. You only have Ant showing up. Cat, he has to play better. He has to have way more production if they're gonna beat the Nuggets. They've been here before.
Who else played tonight? Knicks played tonight. I think the Knicks win because one, they're in New York, and two, once you get whooped like that, there's no other way. There's nothing else you can do besides come out.
If they lose
with
tonight,
a whole different mentality.
They lose tonight. It's over.
You can't afford to lose again after getting smacked.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's about 2 points or 1 point. You cannot afford to lose again after getting smacked like that. It's a mentality thing at this point.
I got New York winning too. I got New York and Timberwolves.
I think New York comes out on top. I'm still picking Denver only because I think championship DNA just shows up.
Yeah.
And it has been showing up. And so, now we're going to see, what the Timberwolves are really made of.
Yeah, for sure. This is the moment. This is the moment. All right, much love, guys. Much love. See y'all soon. We out.